Yeah.
Heads up here. You used to have them.
There's one right there.
He's the one person I could run with. He's built.
You can write on this and it'll show up, but you can't see it. You have to look over there and draw on this.
So I can't write you any notes on that.
No.
Okay. You can write on that and I'll show up.
Yeah. But you can't see on here what you're writing.
Like on ESPN, NFL countdown or something.
Yeah.
I'd now like to call this October 20th, 2011 Cookeville City Council meeting to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Anderson,
Present.
Councilman Woodford,
Present.
Mayor Swallows,
Here.
Vice Mayor Epps,
Here.
Councilman Albright,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. Now would everyone please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, consider approval of agenda as presented.
We do have one change. We need to pull the truck bids from item 13.
Okay. Move it.
I'll move to, with that amendment.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All right, all vote. All right, on to old business, item 2.
Yes votes, motion carries.
Sorry. Item 2, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on October 6, 2011. Have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, item 3, consider on second and final reading ordinance 110916, rezoning a portion of 644 Whitson Chapel Road from RS20, single-family residential, to CL local commercial. Sponsors, Mr. James Mills.
Mayor and council members, the location of the property is depicted on the screen. This proposed rezoning has been recommended by the Planning Commission, and the Planning Department concurs with the recommendation. We've received no calls or comments since first reading. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and address them.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the council? Comments from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, item 5. Consider on second and final reading ordinance 110918, amendments to the zoning code. Sorry, I've skipped a spot. Item 4. Apologize. Consider on second and final reading ordinance 110917, rezoning 1491 and 1493 West Broad Street from RS single family residential to CL local commercial. Mr. James Mills.
Mayor and council members, the location of these properties is depicted on the screen. This proposed rezoning has been recommended by the Planning Commission, which the Planning Department concurs with the recommendation. We've received no calls or comments since first reading. Be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
All right. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
All right. Item 5, second time I've read this one. Consider on second and final reading ordinance 110918, amendments to the zoning code. Sponsors, Mr. James Mills.
Mayor and council members, this ordinance makes several amendments to the zoning code, specifically regarding townhomes, condominiums, billboards, and on-premise signs, temporary signs, screening and buffer yards, and the process for appeals of Planning Commission decisions. These amendments were prepared by the Planning Department and recommended by the Planning Commission, and we've had no calls or comments since first reading.
All right. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions from the council? Questions, comments from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. On to new business. Item 6, consider resolution 111015, authorizing the city of Cookeville in conjunction with Putnam County to submit an amendment to the application to the Building and Finance Committee of the Tennessee Board of Economic Growth to amend certificates of public purpose and necessity for the Highlands Industrial Business Park. Sponsors Mr. Jim Shipley.
Mayor and council, where are those slides? Okay, let me see if I can wing it then. There. Nope. Oh, I put them in there and saved it.
Let's say, do you want me to call it up?
Yeah. Why don't you do that? Because I went to a lot of trouble to prepare those slides.
Let the phones out and be up and it should be.
No, just let it go. I'll take care of it. Yeah. In 2009, the city of Cookeville in Putnam County applied for and received certificates of public purpose and necessity for the Highlands Business Park. We got one certificate was for a business park, one was for an industrial park. In 2009, we were involved in litigation with one of the 5 property owners of the westernmost piece of property that consisted of 74 acres. We omitted that 74 acres because of the litigation. So that litigation has been settled. We settled it last year sometime in 2010. And that we had a 4/5 interest in that piece, in that 74 acres. So the litigant received 15 acres of that 74 acres. 6 of it was north of the interstate, and 9 of it was south of the interstate. So what we have to do now to amend our certificate is to add that property the remaining property back to our certificate. So 74 acres minus the 15 is 59 acres, minus the 5.2 acres that is still ours above, that's north of I-40, brings us down to 53.81 acres, which basically we're saying 54 acres more or less. The other reason we need to amend it is because the electric department bond issue for the electric substation on the property. And I think I covered everything I had on the slides, and I would recommend your approval.
I'm sorry, I didn't get all that. Have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Comments? Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, item 7, consider approval of purchase of emergency response equipment and installation for 2 motorcycles. Sponsors, Police Department, Mr. Bob Terry.
Mayor and council, we need to purchase emergency equipment for the 2 motorcycles we've yet to receive. One of them's in Nashville. I think the other's going to be here in a couple of weeks. Boswell is a sole source provider in that if we put anything on besides Harley-Davidson equipment, something happens to the motorcycle, it voids the warranty. So we would recommend your approval.
All right, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the council?
Chief Terry, now when we get these 2 motorcycles, how many does that make?
That's 6.
That there'll be 6. Are there certain times of the day that they're out, or are they out? They're not out at night, are they? Or
They will be.
It's classified.
They will be more so in a couple of weeks. We've got 2 officers right now in a motorcycle school, and we've got one on afternoons that just a few months back got out. So our intention is, since we now keep them at the police station, the officers no longer take them home, that we'll start being able to rotate them out to different shifts so that different people who are qualified can ride them. But we've got enough people to ride them, and I think right now we don't have anybody on midnights currently.
how have they been for maintenance and stuff? Have they held up pretty well?
Yeah, it's minor stuff. It's clutches and things like that go out on them. But we've not had any real serious issues with them,
They look nice in the parades for sure.
for sure.
Any other questions, comments? Any from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Terry. Item 8, consider authorizing the city manager to execute an engineering contract with CTI Engineers to design a new water tank inlet tank mixing system for the Buck Mountain Water Tank. Sponsors Mr. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we negotiated an engineering contract with CTI Engineer Incorporated to do some modifications to our Buck Mountain water tank for our inlet and outlet structure. The lump sum design portion of that fee is $8,900. The bidding and construction portion of the contract on an hourly rate is $12,600, not to exceed that price. Total contract would be $21,500. And I've got a picture out. Here's the tank. If most of you know where Buck Mountain Road and Dry Valley Road's located, the tank sets up here on close to Jim Baden's farm. There's what happens with the tank, the way it sets out on the distribution system, it was built in '78 and put at that location to help serve Allgood when Allgood did away with their water treatment plant. A lot of Allgood's water's pulled through Chocolate Drive, Russell Stover. There's meters there. They connect to us on 10th Street. The meter they have there they don't pull a lot of water from this location. So what this tank does is it sort of stratifies in the summertime, but by temperatures. And this is just an example. This is a couple of tanks that were in Vancouver, I believe, and it sort of shows what happened. They did one tank and did the mixing, and this is a graph where the temperatures, and then they put monitors on it. They did one and didn't do the other one, just to show that the process works. So what the companies that sell these mixing devices, they will basically do a computer simulation about where the devices need to be placed. And what we will be doing is more like this type of structure, not a bottom structure. And it'll put a structure, it'll take the water, come in and come out at a different location, help mix it all up and keep it constant temperature and cooler and so forth. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. And we'd recommend your approval.
A motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Questions from council?
I just clarification, or not clarification, just curiosity, really. Ronnie, so what's the why now? Was this good and this was okay in '78, but it's state of the art '78. It's not state of the art now. How come?
I think Allgood has been pulling. We've added a connection out on 10th Street a few years ago, and we've noticed over the years chlorine residuals drop and degrade over time.
What's that mean?
And just noticing that's starting to
That's what we pay.
happening more and more. And so we just need to go ahead and take care of it. It's something we've been planning to do, and it's just time to go ahead and do it. Shouldn't be an expensive fix.
Okay.
Are there any others like this that have this problem?
Now, this one's located sort of on the end of the system. The others are sort of located in the central part of your town where they normally should be. And the way this one's located on the system, it was just put out there because Allgood was, I think they even paid for a part of the tank at the time when they did away with their plant. And it was set there, located there. And it was to provide their pressure. But then when the cities connected them on at different locations on Chocolate Drive and then on the 10th Street location, most of their water's flowing that direction, and they feed off the rest of our system. And it's just a thing that's progressed over the years.
Any other questions, comments? Any from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 9, consider awarding bids for uniforms, Water Quality Control, and Leisure Services Department. Sponsors, Mr. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we opened our annual bids. We combined with the Leisure Services Department and bid the uniforms out. We had 3 bidders, and we'd recommend the low bidder, CMS Uniforms, and would recommend your approval.
All right, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions from the council? Any from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Item 10, consider awarding annual bid for refuse and cardboard containers. Public Works Department sponsors Tom Dyer.
Mayor and council, we put out bids for our refuge and cardboard containers and only received 2 bids. Recommend Waste Quip as being low bid, meeting spec.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion.
So moved.
All right, any questions from the council? Comments? Questions, comments from the audience?
Why? Oh, just why only 2 bids? I think I asked this question in a work session. It just usually we have about 3 or 4, but there's just that
Nobody
not that many
responded.
people out there.
Yeah, but that was unusual. Most time we have a couple more, but I don't know. We sent out, I believe, five bid tabs for it. Didn't receive but the 3, and of course one of them was a no bid on it.
Do you feel comfortable that even though we've only received two bids for this project, you feel comfortable that's a fair and low bid
Yes.
instead of
Yes, I mean.
versus trying to rebid and going out and getting 5 or 6 bids?
Yes.
Okay.
They did come in much lower this time than the previous bids by anywhere from $20 to $60 per unit. And it is for a year bid this time. Previously, no one wanted to bid and have a year-long bid on it. So I felt good about that, really.
So it sounds like this may be better than normal, right?
Okay.
Better than past, okay.
Good.
Any questions, comments from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Item 11, consider authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for natural gas supply capacity. Sponsors Mike Davidson.
Mayor and council members, I have 2 gas contracts that are expiring at the end of October. They're small contracts that are released to us from Middle Tennessee Natural Gas. Those are expiring. I've been able to replace those contracts with Atmos Energy Marketing. The current contracts, total monthly cost for those is $15,186.80 a month. The new total per month would be $14,160, and I would recommend your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments from council?
It's always nice to have something lower cost than what it was previously.
It is. It's an annual savings of a little over $12,000, so it's nice to have that.
How long was this price negotiated for?
For 5 years. It's a 5-year contract. Starts November 1 and runs through October 31 of 2016.
Is that normal? Are they usually 5-year contracts?
Sounds long.
5, they kind of vary. We've had 10 years with Middle Tennessee. It was a 10-year. This contract will be a 5-year deal. So it just kind of varies. This gets their contracts in line with their other pipeline supply capacity contracts that are expiring around the same time. So it gets everything in the same time frame.
So our last contract was how long?
For this particular piece, it was a 10-year contract.
Okay.
I don't bid. I don't buy and sell natural gas. So I'm just. That seems like an awfully long time. But of course, it's much shorter than a 10-year contract.
This isn't the gas itself.
Okay.
It's capacity on the pipelines to move that gas up here to us. To make sure we have space, basically, in the pipeline to get the gas
So
to
we're
us.
buying. This is okay. I didn't know that. We're buying
capacity
space.
inside the pipe, basically, is what we're doing.
You need to spend a day with him talking about gas. It's very interesting.
I deal with
Something
gas
I
every
can't
day.
understand. That and geometry and all those other things.
Any other questions, comments?
Okay.
It's interesting.
All right, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, item 12. Consider awarding bid for vacuum excavator machine. Gas Department sponsors Mike Davidson.
Mayor and council members, we opened bids for a vacuum machine to extract dirt, debris from around gas valves. We received 2 bids. We sent it out actually to seven companies. We only received 2 bids. I'd recommend a low bid of Vermeer Heartland of $22,637.25.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, I got a couple. Again, same question I asked Mr. Dyer. I mean, again, only 2 bids. You said you sent out 7. How come only two received? And I mean, with only 2, do you feel comfortable with only 2?
I feel comfortable with the bid. There's just a little over $400 difference in the 2. I feel comfortable with it. We tried, like I said, sent it out to 7 different vendors, but these were the only 2 that responded.
Because the second part of my question is I have no idea what a vacuum, not extractor, excavator, right? Vacuum excavator is. My wife and I talked. We spent about 10 minutes at dinner talking about this, what it might be. And pretty lively conversation.
I need you to come out and see it. We'll demo it for you.
I guess I need to go over to the gas department and see what's going on.
Be sure to go
down
in
there.
the middle of, let's see, I went in the middle of July, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Very
pretty hot that day.
But it basically, the valves that are under the pavement, it will clean out all the debris around them so you can operate those valves, turn them. And it's one of the things we have to do throughout the year is make sure the valves are operable. So it cleans out all the debris, sucks out all that debris from around them. And then this particular machine allows us to locate gas lines as well. If we need to excavate to locate a line, instead of having to use a backhoe now, we can actually use this device and the water pressure to locate that gas line.
Are you good with that, Connie? Okay. I'm good.
I trust them.
We'll be happy to demonstrate it anytime you want to come out and take a look at it.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
We will accept topics for conversation for Vice Mayor Epps and his wife at dinner.
Yeah.
Well, we're all about the city. We can't get it off our minds. We talk about this stuff all the time.
Item 13, I think we're going to scratch from the agenda.
No, just the truck.
Just the truck part?
Yeah.
Okay, so item 13, consider awarding bids for cab, chassis, and aerial device. Electric Department sponsors Tony Peak.
Mayor and council, this is for a bucket truck, by the way. We generally get a better price if we buy the cab and chassis separate from the boom. There's only a couple of major manufacturers of electric booms in the southeastern part of the United States, that being Altec and Terex. But back to the truck, the 2012 year model cab and chassis had 3 bidders. Recommend Neely Coble Freightliner out of Nashville as a low bidder meeting specifications, $70,075. And if it pleases the council, I'll move right into the other part of the equipment. The other bid we opened was for the 50-foot boom that mounts on that cabin chassis. Again, 2 major manufacturers of that boom. Years ago, there used to be some smaller ones, but they've since got out of the business. Altec is the only bidder we had. Terex, I'm told by our purchasing officer, just could not compete for that bid. It's the reason they didn't submit a bid. We've bought multiple Altecs in the past and had tremendous success out of those. $88,117, and this is a budgeted item. And this boom and truck will be replacing a 1999 with 140 some odd thousand miles. It has major problems both with the boom and the cabin chassis. So I'd recommend your approval.
Have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Peak, how close to budget is that? You said this is a budgeted item?
It is a budgeted item, and it's under budget.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Any other questions?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. What do you do with the old bucket and the old truck?
We trade those in. And the reason we trade them in is due to the liability. If we trade them in to a truck or a boom manufacturer, the first thing they do is rebuild it. We don't want to offer that for sale and have any, the first day they use it, the boom fall or something and be involved in some liability. So we always trade those in so we don't have to fool with them.
Better keep our liability in-house.
Makes sense.
When we're driving, it's okay.
It's not okay, but any other questions?
No.
Anything from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
5 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, this is part of the meeting where we open up the floor to the hearing of citizens and/or delegations. I do want to recognize, I believe, the TTU journalism class. You guys in the back row, thank you for coming. Sorry the meeting is pretty quick, but we can talk more.
We can make it longer.
We could.
But anyway, thank you for coming, and feel free to come to any and every meeting. And this is not all we do; is just award bids. But anyway, if anyone would like the floor, please come forward. All right. Anything from the council?
I want to remind everybody of the last 2 brown bag lunches up at the depot tomorrow and a week from tomorrow. I was able to go last week. It was beautiful weather. I hope it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. And I'm sure that Vice Mayor Epps would like to make an announcement about the haunted half. I guess maybe that means that you should make an announcement.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Anderson. Yeah, next Saturday, this coming weekend, all these folks you see sitting up here, except for Miss McLean, will be.
How did that happen?
But you're welcome to, Miss McLean.
Except and our Dan Rader. Sands, our 2 people, the very extreme ends, will be participating, running, jogging in the Haunted Half Marathon. So
Some of us walking.
Yeah.
We would encourage everybody to come out and support this cause. It's a good cause. It raises money for the foundation at Cookeville Regional Medical Center. So this group felt it was important enough that they put their legs and their lungs on the line to go out there. So
not to mention their hearts.
and their hearts on the line. So
Getting up there Saturday morning.
just for a heads up, this is the third year that this half marathon has been in Cookeville, and we expect close to, if not over, 500 folks participating in this, with 19 relay teams, lots of money going to charities, and it has grown from the first year was like just below 200, so it's really grown, and we're competing with Cookeville's competing with lots of other races that are going on, very same weekends and all over Middle Tennessee. So I think we're doing pretty good. It's for a good cause, so come out and watch us. We'll need some encouragement.
Yeah. Just hope we're all here for the next meeting.
Come back to see if we're here. And one last
Thank you, Mr.
comment.
Mayor.
I hope everybody's gotten by Dogwood Park and seen the sod being laid, and it's starting to look like a real park now, and that's exciting. Got mums, and some of the trees are turning. It's just beautiful.
It's great.
Looks good.
And I don't have my little cheat sheet up here, but the trick or treat night, Monday night, Leisure Services is sponsoring. Do we have any help out there with that? Gail?
Combination of different organizations that are
West Side.
Cityscape, Leisure Services.
Church.
And the First Methodist,
And First Methodist Church.
First
Yeah.
United
Is it
Methodist
is it
Church.
Yeah.
trunk or treat type?
Yeah, and it'll be on the.
Methodist Church and
It will be on the 31st.
Yeah, Monday night, the 31st. So
Is the Episcopal Church involved with that, Alma?
No, the
Oh,
Episcopal
they're
Church
not.
is
I hate that. Well, dang it. Maybe we can
We're
get
over
them in.
there on Washington Avenue. Oh, yeah, the bowl.
Cooking on the Square.
Habitat Cooking on the
Cooking
Square.
on the Square.
That's next Friday. Be sure and here we go. We're going to wing this. Get this out.
it's like 2 words. Sounds like Cooking on the Square.
Yeah, we're being coached from the audience.
Cooking on the Square a week from Friday, and that's always great because they raise money for Habitat, and that's been a great addition to Cookeville. So hope people will support that too.
And yes, we are going to point out that Halloween is observed on actual Halloween day, Monday the 31st. So there are always a lot of questions about that. So, anything else? All right. This meeting is adjourned.
All right. Good luck.
You have a great weekend. I'll be thinking about you. So